Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Von Biggs, and let's queer up health. A recent Stacker article shares the #1 tip for dating in every decade. Navigating today's dating world can feel like learning a whole new language, especially in terms like ghosting, breadcrumbing, and swiping left. But one relationship expert says love isn't out of reach at any age. Dr. Debra Castaldo, a therapist and author of the Return to Love Playbook, says dating in your 20s should start with one key step: defining your values. While hookups can feel exciting, Dr. Deb warns, she quotes, "If you are stuck in a pattern of one-night stands, ask yourself if this behavior is serving you and what the consequences may be, are not only for you, but for your partners," end quote. She urges young adults to prioritize emotional safety and courageous conversations around consent and STI testing. In your 30s, it's about leading with intention. While pressure to settle down may mount, Dr. Deb suggests slowing down and asking, quote, "What's your vision for life?" end quote. Real love takes time. She says that it takes at least a year to get to know the real person. But your 40s, clarity is key. Be upfront about what you want, casual or committed. Dr. Castaldo emphasizes that most people want a partner who has a mature sense of themselves. In your 50s, she says it's time to reflect, not panic. Let your past guide your future. And in your 60s and beyond, she advises being real, saying, quote, "Inauthenticity is one of the greatest obstacles in relationships at this age," end quote. Queer elders are often overlooked in both mainstream and LGBTQ spaces, but their stories and their capacity for joy and companionship are vital. Whether it's a new romance or a rekindled flame, love doesn't retire. Some of you may ask, how do online apps play into this? Well, dating apps have revolutionized queer dating by offering visibility, access, and community, especially in places where LGBTQ people may feel isolated. But they also come with challenges. They come with bias, safety concerns, and emotional fatigue. Dr. Deb's decade-by-decade advice reminds us that no matter how we meet, online or off, the most important relationship we build is with ourselves first. Her bottom line, no matter your age, the best relationship starts with honesty, self-awareness, and staying open to connection. For more on this story, visit stacker.com. And remember, love is love at every age. You know, what's great, I saw this article, and was just notified recently that NMAC and the USCHA conference in September, my abstract got submitted, which is dating interracially and racially amongst the generations.
Oh, wow.
And dealing with disclosure. So you think about the dating apps, there's a lot about disclosure, you know, HIV status or STIs or how you're handling prevention or whatever means. So it just read right into what I'm going to be presenting. So it was kind of really exciting to see the story come out. So I think it's great. Yeah.
But I mean, you know, folks, I mean, I think that you guys will agree. It doesn't matter if you're 22 or 62, dating is freaking hard.
Yep.
You know, at any age. And I'm thinking that, like, you know, there's something about maturity that happens. Like certain people that I probably would have dated in my 20s, I would have never dated in my 40s or 50s, right? Like, like hell no. Like, I think when you get to a certain age, you already know what you don't want, you know? And then I also, you know, I agree with you 100%. It doesn't matter how old you are. You can find a relationship in your 60s, in your 70s, you know what I mean? But I think it's harder to find somebody at that age because you're so set in your routine. You're so set in your space, in your things being where they are. You know what I mean? Yeah. Don't move my shit. You know what I mean?
Well, I think this is an important book because I think it should be handed out the minute somebody comes out. Because it's like, here you go.
Right.
There's a lot of rules to this group, but at least here's a starting point. I mean, I've told you as we were talking about this earlier that I was giggling throughout the whole time because she's going, in your 20s, you're going to do this. I'm like, no, you're horny. In your 30s, you're going to do this.
You're still horny. You're still horny.
And then she's like, well, in your 50s and 60s. And I'm like, and then you just become invisible because in the gay community, you just kind of.
But you don't have to, honey.
No, you don't have to. No, but I understand that. And that's why I was laughing about, you know, in my own sick little mind and my jokes. It's like, the only challenge to this book is it doesn't acknowledge the reality to find community. So this book is good because once you find community, once you come to yourself and you start realizing who you are and your maturity and all these different things that you're going through, because I mean, this book is not going to work for somebody in the Boot Hill of Missouri or in the outskirts of Tennessee someplace where there's 7 gay men within a 100-mile radius that wants to at least talk to you.
Well, I don't know if
So-
this book is only for queer advice or is it all dating advice.
It's all dating advice.
Oh.
But I'm just saying, I think this is a good starting point. But I think we also need to acknowledge that based on your ability to find community and the strength of that community is going to help you get through.
Right.
I feel it because, like, a part of me, like, there are some things that I think this author is saying that it makes sense. There are other parts of this where I'm a little like, I don't know,
Yeah.
Like what? Which part?
Like the
20s,
whole
30s,
idea of
40s.
like how to communicate. I'm not sure how if that relates to everyone, but I will say I do think your 20s are for sleeping with all the wrong people. Your 30s are for sleeping with your friends.
Okay.
No.
And then your
Oh, wow.
I've already passed my 30s, so that's what my 30s.
So we
were.
know
And
what's going on in your
and then
life.
Right?
40s. Well, hopefully you get most men in their 40s. They're already so set in their ways. I don't know, but for guys in their 50s and 60s, I do think they worry too much. And I'm like, don't think of it as like a failure or something. It's just trading season.
Right.
It's all. Just trading season. That's all. Trying to switch. Fine.
And this is where, and the book doesn't cover this, but this is where that intergenerational dating that
Yeah.
she doesn't talk about when you've got someone
Right.
in their 60s who date in their 30s.
Yeah.
and
Which
vice
happens a lot
versa.
in Wilton
Right.
Manor, so yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
those are other topics to be
Well, that's because the
explored.
30-year-olds are trying to figure out what they are looking for in a mature relationship, and they look, you're old, you've been through shit, you're it.
You tell
Right.
me,
Right.
right? And the older guy wants to relive his youth and
Right.
remember what it was like when he was in his 20s. So
Right.
you come with me, and we're gonna have a
I
great
got my
time,
egg,
right?
let's go.
You know, and sometimes that works, and sometimes it
Yeah,
doesn't.
but it always works out great.
It always works out great, no matter what. Well, that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.